Hello, and welcome to the I-205 Managed Lanes Project Public Scoping Meeting. The California Department of Transportation, or Caltrans, in partnership with the San Joaquin Council of Governments, or SJCOG, is pleased to introduce this project to you and invites you to comment on the alternatives. And first, we will be going over the purpose of this meeting. We will then give you a general overview of the project as well as the purpose and need for this specific project. We will then discuss the preliminary engineering and current alternatives for the corridor. We will go into more detail about express lanes as these lanes are new to drivers in the project vicinity. We will then give you a brief look into the environmental process and progress of the studies and reports. Lastly, we will show you the ways to stay connected with the project and track its progress. The purpose of this scoping meeting is to give you the opportunity to learn more about the project as well as give you the chance to ask questions and provide input on the alternatives and the scope of the environmental studies. We will be providing contact information and means for you to share your thoughts and provide feedback. This meeting serves as a place for refinement and discussion of the proposed alternatives. In 2014, the need for carpool or high occupancy vehicle or HOV lanes was identified on I-205 in the Transportation Concept Report, which looked at the I-205 corridor as a whole. In 2017, the Smart Corridor Project Report suggested the need to upgrade the corridor to a smart corridor by adding intelligent transportation system facilities such as ramp metering. This was also the year where the Project Study Report and Project Development Support document was approved by Caltrans, recommending the addition of a carpool lane in both directions on I-205. In 2020, SJCOG's Congested Corridor Plan suggested the need to add an express lane instead of just a carpool-only lane, as well as preserving space in the median for future transit options, such as rail or bus transit. Express lanes are carpool lanes that single occupancy vehicles can use by paying a toll. We will discuss express lanes a bit more later in the presentation. Now, we are preparing to initiate environmental studies for a range of alternatives that includes express lanes, transit lanes, and other managed lane alternatives in the scope of the project. These 3 points identify the purpose of the project. The proposed project will reduce traffic congestion and improve commute times on I-205 resulting from Central Valley commute traffic to the Bay Area. The proposed project will facilitate more efficient goods movements on I-205 resulting from increasing regional and interstate truck volumes and accompanying congestion. The proposed project will facilitate increased multimodal transportation opportunities, including carpooling and ride-sharing, while accommodating planned transit development of public transit in the I-205 project area. These 3 points identify the need of the project. Traffic congestion and commute times on I-205 continue to increase due to the traffic from Central Valley counties to the Bay Area, as workers move to growing Central Valley residential developments while commuting to jobs in the Bay Area. Traffic volumes from truck traffic continue to increase as a result of the use of I-205 as a regional and interstate truck and freight route, worsening traffic congestion. The growth and development occurring in the Central Valley has increased the need for additional alternative modes of transportation to address planned growth and serve commuters to the Bay Area. Here is the general map of the project area, showing the segment of I-205 that is proposed to be improved. The map also shows the city of Tracy. The project limits begin in Alameda County, from beyond the start of I-205 where it meets with I-580 in the west, to the end of I-205 where it meets I-5 in the east. The major interchanges with I-205 are called out here. Depending on the alternative selected, some of the interchanges may be modified or constructed. And you can see the potential transit hub locations, which could be utilized in the future in consultation with stakeholders and transit providers. Transit hubs may consist of park and ride lots, bus or train stations, or electric vehicle charging stations. The project could construct facilities within the right-of-way to accommodate connections to the corridor, but may or may not construct the actual transit hubs. Additionally, the proposed Valley Link route option and existing Altamont Corridor Express, or ACE, alignment are shown. We have identified 5 preliminary alternatives for the project. These are not set in stone. We are looking forward to having your input and ideas put forward for additional alternatives that can be considered as the project moves forward. The first alternative is the no-build alternative, which would halt the project and leave 205 as is. The second alternative is to go forward with the originally proposed project of widening 205 to add a carpool lane in each direction. Lanes would be added to the outside west of the existing West 11th interchange and to the inside to the east of that interchange. The third alternative would convert an existing general purpose lane into a carpool lane, with no highway widening. This alternative would not increase the capacity of I-205. The fourth alternative would widen 205 to add express lanes, which will be described soon, as well as leaving median space open for the future planned transit improvements. The fifth and last alternative would be the same as the fourth alternative, except instead of express lanes, the added lanes would be bus-only lanes. Express lanes, sometimes called toll lanes, are a type of managed lanes. They provide toll-free lanes for some types of travelers, including carpools, buses, motorcycle, van pools, and eligible clean air vehicles. Unlike a standard carpool lane, an express lane is available to solo drivers if they pay a toll. Toll prices are subject to change based on the time of day and other factors and are displayed on overhead signs. The prices are managed to maintain smooth traffic flow in this lane. The environmental process for the I-205 Managed Lanes project addresses both California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, and the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA. Caltrans is the lead agency under both CEQA and NEPA. The intent of both CEQA and NEPA is for the lead agency to consider the effects of the project on the environment and to disclose those effects to the public. This is a general schedule of the environmental process for this project. The Notice of Preparation, NOP, has been published and will circulate until November 1st. During that time, we're requesting input from the public regarding ideas, questions, and concerns about the scope of the project and environmental impacts. Public comments will be considered going forward. After comments are collected and reviewed by the project team, we anticipate conducting technical studies and gathering information beginning in the fall. Circulating a draft environmental document beginning in June 2023. Having a public meeting, another opportunity for public input, in July 2023. And completing the final environmental document in March of 2024. After that, the project will be reviewed and, if approved, will move on to final design, permitting, and eventually construction. This slide shows a general schedule of the environmental studies and reports that will be conducted to support the environmental document. We have a couple batches of studies based primarily on what kind of information we need. We'll start biological studies as early as possible so that we can conduct blooming season surveys for a full year to capture all the special status plant species. With a project footprint, access to properties, and some general design information, we can also complete the paleontological and cultural resources studies, the visual impact assessment, and the geotech and water quality reports. The cultural resources study is expected to include analysis of both archaeological and built environment resources, and will be forwarded to the State Historic Preservation Officer, or SHPO, in the spring of 2022. We anticipate that traffic, VMT, or vehicles mile traveled data, and tolling data will be finalized in the summer of 2022. And that will allow us to complete the air quality, noise, and community impact studies that rely on the information by winter of 2022. The community impact analysis will address impacts related to equity, environmental justice, right-of-way acquisition, and relocations. Then the draft EIR-EA, Environmental Impact Report, Environmental Assessment, would follow, which will be circulated for public review for 45 days. This scoping meeting is just the beginning of the environmental process. We encourage you to provide comments and stay connected. There are several ways you can do that. You can visit the project website at 205managedlanes.com, where you can see the project information and opt in to receive email updates. You can leave comments here at the meeting, or you can contact Scott Guidi of Caltrans via email or through the U.S. Postal Service to Scott's address. Thank you for your participation in the environmental process.